Just to say at the outset, I want to welcome all the contributions with regard to this motion of no confidence in Dr. James Reilly. And it wasn't a cynical exercise to put down this motion. It gave us an opportunity to highlight the inadequacies and the failings of Minister Reilly in managing a budget. And that's why Martin Naughton was outside the gate 2 weeks ago protesting. And there were inspirational words, as the Taoiseach said. But the reason he was out there was simply that Minister Reilly is incapable of managing a budget. Now, Minister Noonan made a contribution tonight, maybe a bit glib and sarcastic. But, Minister, you could do us one favour. You might take him away for a while and give him a basic lesson in sums. Because Minister Reilly included in the budget programmes that were not sustainable or achievable. All he was short of was writing in that we'll find a crock of gold somewhere to keep the budget going, and we'll keep it going for as long as we can. Now, the most interesting contribution here over the last 2 nights has been the most interesting contribution from any member of this House was Minister Roisin Shortall. She spoke for 4 minutes, and it wasn't a statement. It was an open letter to you, Minister, and she was putting you on notice. She didn't refer to you once, but she highlighted the failings of you, the Department and the HSE in dealing with the budget overrun. And she said quite clearly in her statement that the priorities that were outlined in the programme for government must be brought back to being. Primary care, the great promises, the legislation now we're told there's constitutional and legal problems with it. 15 million pocketed to fill the gap in the budget deficit that's caused by Minister Reilly's shortcomings. So I want to say here tonight quite clearly, this is not about political opportunism. This is about whether or not Minister Reilly is capable of delivering not only on the commitments, but ensuring that the most vulnerable are protected. And quite clearly, when the axe did fall, it did fall on the most vulnerable. And there is no point in anybody else coming into this House trying to convince the people that are outside government buildings 2 weeks ago, trying to convince the home helps and the home care packages that were withdrawn and were threatened to be withdrawn. That is the simple fact. Many deputies said it. They said it publicly on their airwaves, but they came in here this evening and they'll vote confidence in you. They will vote confidence in you, Minister. And they'll do it with a very heavy heart. But tomorrow, and on the doors, they'll still be saying that they don't have confidence in you. And when Minister Shortall couldn't come into this House tonight and stand up and say that she had confidence in you, well then we have a major dysfunctional problem in the Department of Health, and it says a lot about you, Minister. Now, I didn't refer to any personal insults inside here, and I want to keep it on the issue of policy. But you have failed, and you have failed fundamentally. You came in on a great white hope of promises and commitments to transform the health service. Every one of your commitments are now being delayed on a continual basis. And the Taoiseach then had the brass neck to come in and say that, no, his mandate was not sought in promises. He can't even go to Roscommon because of the commitments and the promises he made to the people himself, and then denied he ever made them. So let's be clear. There was promises, and lots of them made, and they have been betrayed. Now, I want to finally say, Because he's embarrassed by his own I want to finally say. Well, if you're not too old to be
through the chair, please. Thank you.
You really wanted to get into it.
Through the chair, please.
I want to finally say that Minister Reilly did promise that there would be fundamental change, and he failed. But then the Taoiseach comes in this evening and says one of his great achievements was the renegotiation of the consultant contract. Now I say, Minister Reilly, you can take credit for lots of things, but you certainly can't take credit for something that happened in 2008 and was referred only 2 weeks ago to the Labour Relations Commission for adjudication. So for people to come in here and take credit for something they hadn't hand-acted and part of is brass neck at the highest order. Now, finally, before all the deputies press the button and vote confidence in Minister Reilly, may they just remember what they said on local radio stations and what they said at Carton House and what they say on a daily basis to their constituents. Just remember that, because you are voting very hypocritically here tonight, each and every one of you. And I look forward, to reading Minister Roisin Shortall's open letter to Minister Reilly, putting him on notice for his failings so far.